So I started Viral Launch. I had just recently dropped out of school. In school, I was studying business, running track, but I taught myself how to code and dropped out of school building iOS applications. And at that time, a friend of mine who was an Amazon seller, he kind of always wanted to start a business with me, and he came to me with the idea of Viral Launch. And so he was working on the business side. He was working with the Amazon sellers, kind of directing what Viral Launch was, becoming. And I was the one who built the original platform and kind of laid the groundwork for what Viral Launch is now. And over time, he wanted to stay in school, and I officially bought him out after a year, and that is where we really started to scale the business. So Viral Launch was originally coded in a small apartment in Indiana in the Midwest in the United States, and we didn't have enough money for heat, so we were, I was coding with socks on my hands because my hands were too cold to type, wearing a winter coat, and yeah, that was the very humble beginnings of Viral Launch. Yeah, so Viral Launch has a ton of data around product launches and what is driving success, or what are the main factors Amazon is considering when ranking products on Amazon. So we've run a little over 30,000 launches to date, and through this process, we are tracking the content of the listing that we are tracking. We are tracking, what is the keyword structure? Are keywords placed in the title, in the bullet points? How frequently in each of the listing elements? Are they exact phrase, or are they broad phrase? So we're tracking all of this. We're tracking organic sales, we're tracking promotional sales, and we're tracking the rank position for these products for multiple keywords to understand how each sale interacts with the content of the listing to drive rankings. And so, any given day we're running around 300 launches, and this essentially allows us to just get a great picture as to what is working, what's not, what are the factors that are weighing in on the most successful launches. Yeah, so can we rank any product on page 1 for Amazon? The answer is yes, but it has a stipulation, and that stipulation is, are you willing to spend the money associated with getting there, right? So we've gotten some of the highest volume keywords: fish oil, vitamin C serum, essential oils. We've had people ranking well in the top 5, if not number 1 for each of these keywords. And so it is very possible, but comes with the stipulation that you have to be willing to spend the money in order to make that money. So the largest attributor to keyword ranking on Amazon is sales. And a lot of people think sales velocity, but the more appropriate term would be sales history. So Amazon tracks sales in these buckets, the buckets of 24 hours, 48 hours, 5 days, 7 days, 14 days, and so forth in 7-day increments out, 6 months. And Amazon is calculating the average per day sales through a particular keyword against any particular product. So let's take a fish oil, for example. The products that are ranking page 1, let's say they are selling 50 units per day through searches that are fish oil. And this builds into their 7-day sales history, their 1-day sales history, these sales through this keyword fish oil. So if you want to rank alongside this person selling 50 units a day, you need to establish a competitive sales history. So that would be 50 sales a day through that same exact keyword. There's a lot of other factors, such as the keyword structure of your listing. Do you have the particular keyword in your title? Do you have it in your bullet points? Where do you have it in your listing, essentially? Amazon, I don't think takes into account things like conversion nearly as much as what people think. They do not take into account review count or review rating, or if they do, these are very, very minor factors in determining ranking position. So the largest contributor by far is sales.
So what do top Amazon sellers do
So
differently?
there are 2 major factors or things that large sellers do that the rest of the market is not so focused on. The first is the 80-20 rule. So the sellers that are absolutely killing it on Amazon are the sellers that are willing to just double down, triple down on Amazon. We see so many people, they get to this point of, okay, maybe they're selling $1 million a year, or anywhere between $1 and $5 million a year on Amazon. and they start to get afraid, or they hear that they need to diversify their revenue in order to continue to have success or to sustain the success. And so they start to focus on other channels, Shopify, Walmart. The thing is of the thousands and thousands of brands that we work with, and these are sellers ranging from people just getting started on Amazon to guys doing over 100 million a year on Amazon alone. These guys, 99.5% of them are driving 80 to 90% of their sales on Amazon. I've seen guys spend millions of dollars working on their Shopify store or trying to get into other channels, and of those guys, only one has had a real successful drive into retail. It's these big sellers but the large seller that had success, they waited until they had a $30+ million brand before they started to focus outside of Amazon. So number one, doubling down, 80-20 rule, focusing on what is actually driving results, and a lot of the time that is Amazon. Number two is willingness to be aggressive and to spend money. So, how many sellers do we know, or maybe this was you when you first got started, or maybe this is you now, but you are working through sponsored ads and lower price to try to drive ranking of your products. Sometimes it works. In low competition markets, it can definitely work, but almost all the time it takes a lot longer to drive ranking and then further sales and success than if you use something like Viral Launch to run promotions. This is why we exist. And so the bigger sellers, obviously it is a biased demographic, but these larger sellers are very aggressive in their promotions, and so they're able to rank for their top 5 keywords in the first month. Sure, they're spending a lot of money in these promotions, but they're able to drive ranking very, very quickly, which allows them to drive organic sales, which allows them to drive reviews, and it really just gets the snowball rolling, allowing them to drive success, which further drives success. So it's this perpetual motion, all stemming from being aggressive. So if you are just starting out on Amazon, the number one key to your success is going to be product selection. So before making any product decisions, you absolutely have to understand what are the levers to driving success. If you understand the levers of driving success, now you will better understand what determines whether a product will be a success for you or if this is a good product to jump into. Sourcing a great product sets everything else up to make your launching experience so much easier, so much better. Sourcing a bad product for you makes the launch process so much more difficult. So if you are a new seller looking to launch, my advice is always to be aggressive. And I know that there are cost implications with that, but if you have sourced a great product, then being aggressive is relative and should work within your budget. So in a small market where sellers are selling, $300 a month or 300 units a month, being aggressive is only giving away, 200 units over the course of 30 days or 100 units over the course of 30 days, depending on how competitive the market is. So you need to make sure that you're finding markets where you can be aggressive. So there are plenty of markets where the top sellers are only selling 100 units a day, which may work very well for you. And again, being aggressive may mean giving away 30 units total, 50 units total, but you need to be aggressive, whatever that means for you. Trying to crawl to success gives so much opportunity for new competitors to come in and surpass you, or it allows your current competitors to continue to accelerate away from you, making it that much more difficult to hit page one and to really start driving success or sales. Yeah, so the easiest way to estimate the number of units you need to give in order to reach page one, reach top 10, reach top 5, or wherever you're looking to rank is to identify the sellers that are ranking for this keyword that you're looking to go after in the positions you're looking to rank for. So let's say you're trying to rank in the top 10 for the keyword fish oil. I use fish oil because it is an example of a product that you should absolutely not be selling. So just word to the wise there. Anyways, let's say you want to rank in the top 10 for the keyword fish oil. What you need to do is go and get an understanding of how many units these guys are selling per month or per day. You can look at how many units they're selling per month, divide that by 30. Now you have a good estimate of how many units they're selling per day. And so in order to rank alongside them, you would try to sell or in a promotional giveaway, give away the same number of units that they are seeing per day. So if they're selling 900 units a month, that is 30 units a day. So for your promotion, you would need to be giving away at least 30 units per day in order to rank alongside them. And you set this giveaway up for a minimum of 7 days. The reason 7 days is because it satisfies this sales history bucket. It satisfies the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 day bucket. We see longer term success when sellers satisfy this 7 day bucket. Can you still get to page 1 if you don't use Viral Launch? And the answer is, it depends, right? So in highly competitive markets like vitamin C serum, fish oil, essential oils, a lot of the sellers already ranking on page 1 are using Viral Launch or promotions or some tactic to drive external sales to continue to maintain their ranking. And so for those particular markets, it's very difficult to not use some method of driving external sales to drive ranking. There's tons of opportunities to, whether it's running ads from Facebook or just being extremely aggressive in sponsored ads. If you can drive enough sales, then sure, you can definitely rank on page 1. The benefit of using something like Viral Launch, obviously I'm biased, is that it's a very simple method. You spend, maybe 15 minutes your first time setting up a Viral Launch. You're able to upload your coupons, target your keyword, tell us how many units you want to give away, and then it's done. You do no additional work from there. So the benefit of using Viral Launch is just ease of driving this traffic, efficiency, and your time is so valuable, especially because there's so much opportunity still on Amazon. In lower competition markets or markets where your cost of goods sold are very high, $50, $100, or maybe more, it may not make sense to use Viral Launch, and we'll gladly tell you that. So in some markets where competition is very low and maybe volume is very low, just through sponsored ads, having a great listing and a competitive price, you can drive ranking pretty quickly without using anything like Viral Launch. So every market is different. Make sure that you're making the best decisions for the particular markets that you're selling in. One of the classic questions is, what percentage of discount do I need to use in order for this launch to be effective or to drive ranking? And so there's also rumors, probably once every 3 months or so, that promotional discounts at 90% off or major discounts do not drive ranking. And to date, they are not true. Essentially, Amazon is not taking into account the price at which a product is purchased in order to drive ranking. What Amazon is looking at is the current listed price. One indicator of this is if you go look in your Seller Central dashboard and you look at revenue driven, it will show you the revenue based on the listed price, not the actual purchase price, which can obviously be misleading. So the reason we do 90% off at Viral Launch is simply because we're running hundreds and hundreds of launches every day, and we want to make sure that we're able to drive enough volume for each of those launches to our market. So our buyers only have so much discretionary income to spend on Viral Launch deals every day, and so by having a lower purchase price, that allows them to buy more units, which allows us to satisfy this large number of launches that we're running each day. So if we were able to move the same kind of volume at 20% off or 50% off, we would gladly do it. We just can't, and so this is why we give away at 90%. If you're able to drive the same amount of traffic in a controlled manner at 20% off or at full price, then I would highly suggest doing that. What happens if Amazon changes their algorithms? This is the thing that kept me awake probably for the first year and a half of running Viral Launch. For the first year and a half, we really didn't grow our team much at all because I was too afraid of this exact thing happening. So I didn't want to give anybody a job that would be potentially gone tomorrow. And so Amazon is constantly changing their algorithms. It is a large machine learning, artificial intelligence algorithm that is continuing to update based on the performance or the metrics that they're seeing. Every sale that happens has an impact in what determines ranking. So the algorithm is always changing, generally in small ways. One example that we've seen the algorithm change is, I believe, spring of 2016. We started to see Amazon more heavily weight the content of a listing, particularly the title. So essentially, any keyword in a title at the time of a promotion, we would see get significant increase in ranking. right around the summer of last year, we started to see that decline down to, or maybe November of 2016, we started to see that decline down to right now around 30% of keywords we find in the title see a significant impact in keyword ranking. So the algorithm is always changing. I expect the algorithm at some point to no longer allow promotional coupons to drive ranking, or not to the same impact, or maybe they will start taking into account the price at which someone pays in determining how much ranking power to give. But right now, it's not happening. When this does change, we actually have plenty of systems in place, so we will not miss a beat. I actually think that it will be to our advantage and to our customers' advantage when this change does happen, but we're not rolling anything out, at least yet. So definitely possible, hasn't happened yet, but we're prepared. My number one piece of advice for Amazon sellers is just making sure that your product selection is perfect for you. So our mantra is every product is a great product to sell so long as it makes sense for you, your business, and your goals. And so for some sellers, a product that is pulling in $2,000 a month top line revenue is an absolutely amazing product because they don't have much inventory, or they don't have much capital to spend on inventory. They don't have enough money to go and invest in a high volume product. But for the brands that are focused on products that are doing at least 6 figures a month, this $2,000 a month product absolutely does not make sense. So you have to get product selection correct, and sourcing a great product allows you to maximize revenue potential in 30, 60 days of being live on Amazon versus getting into the wrong market. It could take 12 months plus, or maybe you are not even able to achieve success with that particular product. So source great products for you, and the rest will be so much easier.